Hey everybody, this is the Filter Free Live Show, and we have a special guest tonight, Deep Thought underscore lyricist, and it's gonna be awesome. So just waiting for him to come on, and yeah, I'm just gonna chill. I wish I had some like music. I probably should get like some like waiting music, huh? See what I got here. Play. Of course, I have complications. Okay, there it goes. Hi, Ivan. How are you doing today? We're just waiting for our guest. Hi, hubby, Micah. Can't wait too long away. Better now. Good. Can you hear the music, Micah? Cool. So we got two people, Micah and Ivan. I guess we're just waiting for Arsenio. Hey!
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Let me angle myself and stuff.
Yeah, I like your background. Mine's just, I kind of feel like they should do what they do with Zoom and have like changeable backgrounds, you know?
Oh, really?
Um,
Yeah.
that would be kind
I
of
don't
cool,
like
you know?
those
It's
though. Those
why?
like they look kind of funky because if you move anywhere out of position, you can see just like all this extra shit in the back. It almost looks like a bad Photoshop.
That's true. I guess it's kind of an like widely accepted thing because it's the answer now
Hmm.
everybody does it. So,
Yeah.
cool. So what you got going on today besides this?
Um, Nothing.
I
This
don't
is
even
my day of rest, so I get to just like chill out for today.
We usually just call it like the Sabbath day of rest kind of thing for us. Like on Sundays, it's like, but today we didn't do that. We worked a bunch. So,
Yeah.
um, cool. Okay, we got 8 people.
I don't know if that's awesome. Let's put it up. I get.
All right. So I'm gonna start out with okay for everybody here. I'm gonna start with a few questions for you, just people that don't know you. I don't know you a ton, so it'll help me get to know you. And
Right.
then we'll go into some poetry, and then read some poetry from other people that submitted. A few people did.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, let's get started with that. So tell me about yourself for the people who don't know you.
Um, my name is Arsenio, but I go by the poet artist name of Deep Thought, the lyricist. I do spoken word poetry. I mean, really anything with poetry. Like I just love it. And so, yeah, I stay in Madison, Wisconsin, so I'm a Midwest guy. up here. I've been here pretty much all of my life. Um, yeah, I don't know what I feel like this is like a job interview.
No, well, yeah, well, we don't have to make it like that. What would they not ask at a job interview? That's
No,
what I
I was
gotta think
just
of.
kidding. That's it's just like I was like, oh man, I'm not used to answering this very much. It's like, tell me about yourself. I'm like,
So I personally like just started doing, I've done poetry for a few years, but I just started doing spoken word like maybe like 4 to 6 months ago. So how
hmm
long have you been doing it for?
Um, I'd say I've been doing it a little less time than I've actually been writing. So, I've probably been writing for about 20 years now, but like actually performing and doing spoken word for maybe about roughly 10 on and off.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you like, so where did it start? What was like where you were like, hey, I want to do spoken word. Why?
Well, so I started out writing as more of a battle rapper than anything. And so getting into all of that, it was very um, lyric based, I guess. So the platform I was doing it on was like a chat room. And at the time, they didn't have like voice or video chat. So it was literally, my text against somebody else's text. And so that's kind of how I got my start into writing. And then over time, some of the more prolific guys who were also doing the battle rap, like started to share like a bit of poetry. And I was like, that looks easy. I mean, if I write this, I should be able to write that, right? And so, no, it wasn't easy. It wasn't a smooth transition. There was no, like my poetry was like way down here. And then like my rap level was like way up here. Like I just didn't know how to translate it right away without some
Yeah.
kind of like rhythm or something to it. And so yeah, it was not, it's not very smooth at first, but eventually that's what like got me started into it. And then, um, I kind of like, I still love rap just as much, but I kind of wanted to segue and try my hand at poetry more. So I started to like completely make the shift and stop doing like battle rap stuff and music to just writing poetry because it was more natural for me. I was able to
Hmm.
um journal in a creative way because I don't like to journal in general, but if I'm like writing poems about what's going on and how my life is going, that seemed to be, I don't know, a good sticking point for me. So I had a lot of growth once I got into poetry, but yeah, that was kind of the shift from one thing to another.
Have you ever combined like the two, like found that you could find a way to combine like the battle rap and
hmm
as,
at
as
this
a
point, I do. My style, if I were to describe it, it would be poetry infused with like battle rap techniques. And so battle rap to this day, still at this point, is very, very focused on writing and different techniques. Even if the guys who are battling are more performers rather than pure lyric guys, like they still have substantially better lyrics than most other rap music, and it's so intricate, and so it's something that I had to figure out a way to fuse the two, and at this point I have. So um if you were into battle rap, I could give you like the names of some of the battle rappers, and then once you listen to their style, you can hear like bits and pieces of what I put into my poetry. So
yeah. If you'd like to share that, sure. I'm sure some people would want to know that. I would. So, do you have a couple
oh
artists that you can think of?
oh yeah. So my favorite of all time right now, well, of all time right now, is a battle rapper called Daylight. He's from the West Coast. He spells it differently though. It's Daylyt, but he's very, 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 very lyrical. Loaded Lux, he's a guy out of Harlem, New York. He's very intricate with his style. And then you have some guys who are more like performers. Sue Surf is one of them. He's very, very good performer, like really bringing his lyrics to life and stuff like that. So Charlie Clips, there's a bunch of them. I can name like tons and tons and tons of these guys, but yeah.
Cool. Well, now I kind of want to hear your stuff and hear kind of like what you got. So do you have anything you want to start with?
Yes, actually. I'll start with this is one of my favorite poems. It's called City Souls. All right. I can hear the city breathing in its sleep. Creep from the alleyways in between buildings, Renaissance echoing, trumpet horns, notes float like respirations. I'm one with the streetlights, standing on the corners like dope boys. We were on fire once. A time and simmered, and once upon a time, and simmered to coals to cook up immaturity. Purely these ideals surely kept us captivated. Burned out from the street fights, and my knuckles been bleeding, but that won't stop me from trying to recreate the building blocks. Laying cement and the red bricks, our foundation was placed in boundaries set by older brothers, uncles, absentee ballot fathers, the mothers that thrived but were only fed with temporary comfort like menthols. The smoke engulfed us, so we didn't see what's outside the community. We remained with those who were willing to be present, hoping they fit well enough to piece together the village that it takes to raise children, the bandages and ointment to mend us together for the healing, the gate I was placed up against and patted down despite not fitting descriptions, conflicted because I felt they were just doing their jobs. But one of my best friend's father's anger vented the air, and that would consume fumes, although he was ignored. It sat with me for years like the man at the bus stop, divided into proportions, his life escorted into mental illness forces, and little did we know it reflected on us. So we're feeling less beautiful because their colors are distorted. Visions extorted because innocence is attractive in any form, and we were always shaped differently through this molding.
You freeze.
Father had passed away. He used to drive city buses, but his real drive was in his children. His mode of transportation was his honesty and commitment, vivid how his smile would spread across the world like sunrise on horizons. I grieved his passing because good fathers should live forever. Deadbeats should let the beat drop. 5-part harmony. From graffiti, hair salons, corner stores, park benches, and the tears of abandoned children. I'll let that marinate a little because it's too seasoned to bypass reason. It was all natural, and grief is the meat of food for thought. So mentally, I became vegan. I funneled anger into the streets because it ripples heat waves into our lives. Embodied the feeling of pride, feeling so alive. So we start to climb to see if there was enough distance in between the curves to show me which way I should go. The suburbs were always just for show, and for us down here, that's where the sidewalk ends. Right after the barber shop where life breathes through clippers cutting through the bullshit. Sometimes I like to lay in the middle of the lanes at night and pretend I can control the narrative. Headlights expose my vulnerabilities because the city was good to me, but my heart resides in the mountains. I always love the city though, because it's in my soul, dripping down from gutters into the sewers that are the pits of my spirit, twisted in the finger shakeups between gangs that were initially formed to protect the neighborhood. Now they're the downfall and primary captor of city souls. The bus rolls by, picking up grandma to usher her to church, Bible clutched in one arm and handbag in the other, the roaches crawling through her house, waiting for remnants of Sunday dinners. The city controls you, holds true to enclosed dreams, and we were told to there's no way outside of sports, rapping, and pure luck. I didn't just used to love her. She's my stronghold. So I speak into her ear. I always love you.
I love it. You got so many other people in here who are like totally digging it.
Yay.
Mentally, I
Oh,
became vegan. Yes, that was lit.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love it. So what's the do you have a inspiration behind that, or
Um,
I mean I can kind of see it, I can kind of hear it, but I'd like to hear what you have to say about it.
so this was actually from a poem I wrote last year during 30 Poems in 30 Days for Poetry Month last year. A friend of mine that I met through Clubhouse, Tavares, put up this challenge, and each day would have like a different type of poem or different type of theme. This one in particular was one we were supposed to do of like a painting or a work of art. So I used Buford Delaney, who was an artist during the Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance. He did a painting that is kind of looked like it's looking down like a street in the city. So it's got like buildings and it's very, very colorful. And so this was written from that painting.
I never would have known that from hearing it, that that was, you know, a Renaissance painting as part of something that sounds very modern, you know, a
Hmm.
modern day situation. So tying the two concepts,
Yeah.
how did you tie the two concepts together?
So for me, it was, I felt like the painting was his way of telling a story of where he's from. And so
Okay.
and clearly it looked like, you know, this is like an actual city. Like there wasn't like cornfields or like farmland or anything. Like this
Mhm.
was city. And so for me, my early like childhood and stuff was spent between here and Chicago. And so I reflect on a lot of, you know, the times that I spent outside with like friends and family, and just what being in those communities and neighborhoods looked like for me. And so, and then, you know, knowing deep down like I don't really like being in the city. So like that's why I have the line talking about my heart resides in the mountains, because city life is too much for me. It's too overwhelming, a lot of people, really busy, and you know, I just don't do well with that. It doesn't sit too well with me in genuine or in general. So yeah, so that was kind of how I fuse those, is like reflecting on the times I had as a child in the streets and how I could tell my story like this painting tells its story.
Beautiful. So to the mountains. So when did you first realize that, like, you know, this ain't for me? Like the mountains, it's like, you know, probably like one of those like, you know, everybody has those click moments where like, ah, this is what I wanted, where I want to be or whatever. What was that for you?
For me, like as I've gotten older, and I know I'm not old, like, but as I've
Just
gotten
a number.
older, like I just really appreciate and cherish nature that much more. Where, you know, I love what it is. It's a lot of things that are not man-made. It's natural. These things have always
Yeah.
been here, and that's incredible to me. Plus, you know, I'm able to self-sustain. I garden, so you know, I'm like I don't
Oh,
really
cool.
need, yeah, like I don't really need to be in the city. At this point in my life, I don't eat meat. I'm pescatarian, so like I don't need, you know, all the perks of a grocery store really. So I'm like I could really sustain, and I would love that. I love the peace. I love the fresh air. I love, you know, pretty much everything that it has that we don't have in the city.
And two, I can kind of almost see why you would think that, because when I think of spoken word, it to me it reminds me a lot of like nature. Like there's those random curves, and they just all kind of like go into each other. It's chiseled, like the mountains chiseled organically. So are the words as they're
Right.
spoken.
Hmm.
So I could see that from a subconscious kind of. I like to kind of think like, why did I think this subconsciously? That might be. So,
Yeah, maybe.
guys, have you guys have any questions? Just put them in. So mind you, I'm gonna read one, but
Yeah,
I've been doing poetry for a few years, but I've only started spoken word like 3 or 4 months ago. So
you got
be
this.
easy on me. Okay. So this one's called Braingasmic. Fuck it. Kick it. Rattle cages to the curb. Voices mean nothing when there's nothing left to disturb. Wasted and wanted, shit piling up, but nobody's counting. It just keeps growing and burning and growing and burning. So peace, motherfuckers, sayonara, rooted in despair. This incubated madness has no surprise left to declare. And how flippity fantastic is that? What a braingasmic, jilted morning release, too cataclysmic for headlines to release. So grab the paper, verdict's in, and it's great. Not really. It's failing. Smashed, smeared, your name, my name means nothing when lying skins scare, spreading fear, the reality, dollar signs crave. Mine are short, but.
There's nothing wrong with short, not at all.
Yeah.
I believe that, you know, when writing a piece, when you're really in the moment, you're guided until you've said all you needed to say for that piece. And sometimes a haiku comes out, and sometimes half a novel comes out. You never know.
Or sometimes nothing comes out.
Or sometimes nothing comes out, and you're like, yeah, I don't got nothing. Either one's entirely possible.
Yeah, this one's just basically one about the times, really. Like, headlines, you know, just, they just all fucking lie to me. Like, I think everything is a distraction. I think my husband and I were talking about this today, how, like, you know, you got all this stuff, like, one minute it's COVID, the next minute it's Ukraine. It's like, okay, are we just playing a part in the story? That's kind of like how I'm looking at it. I have a lot of sympathy for what's going on in Ukraine and everything, but it's just like, do we just always believe the headlines, or do we make our own opinions? And I think we should make our own opinions. So I get highly like, yeah, so that's mine.
No, I, you know, news outlets can be very deceiving. And oftentimes they show what will get them more ratings and reactions. And so it's difficult to buy everything you're seeing on TV, no matter what the nature is. It still becomes, you know, what aren't you telling us is the question. You know, what else is there to this story, you know? But with people being as reactive as they are, I guess it still works. So
Well, yeah, it's dollars. Like, I used to work in the news industry, and I wrote for a very large publication. And all that worked was anything that would cause hysteria. Like, they would write headlines to hysteria. They almost wrote to what would sell, and they did. Not almost, they did. And so I got out of that, but I've seen it firsthand. They're just going to write what's going to make money. So.
Well, and a lot of people aren't going to actually read the article. They'll take the headline and run with it, you know.
They will. They will. And a lot of times it'll be not even what the article's about entirely. It's just supposed to hook them in. And yeah, but cool. Show me what you got next. I'm excited after hearing that last one. I think I heard that one before somewhere. So I was nice to hear it again.
Yeah, I was, you know, I always forget what ones I share in like certain spaces, so it's difficult to to gauge, like, did I do this? Did I not do this? Like, you know, what's the case? So I'll do this one. This is one I haven't really done before. It's a shorter piece. It's called Panic Attack.
I'm familiar with those.
Me too. That's why I wrote it.
Great. Let's hear it.
The feeling is like every finger of fear grasping my heart. The entire hand of hopelessness squeezing my lungs, collapsing my chest, inflating my chest, collapsing my chest, inflating my chest. By a stampede within the mind, placing the brain in a position to seize unwanted tears away from the eyes. Tears that trickle down the cheeks onto the arms and legs, tingling of paralysis instantly induced on limbs upon impact of barren tears. The tears succumb to the pressure of an emotionless drought. The tingling fades. Breathing slows. Headache soothed. Panic surrenders to the feeling of safety. An unknown sensation treads the lines of insanity, grief, and isolation. Memories begin to intrude upon my mind. In the flashbacks, my vision is completely shadowed with darkness, only enough light to see death's outline approaching. I snap out of the feeling to realize that the flashback has come to present. My eyes widen as he comes closer. He reaches his bony hand out to grab me. The feeling is like every finger of fear grasping my heart, the entire hand of hopelessness squeezing my lungs.
Feels, serious feels. Like I could feel that at the times when I've had panic attacks. Do you feel like, oh, this might be a personal question. You can be like, no, I don't want to talk about that.
No, you're good,
But do you feel like you still have those? If not, has like poetry helped you cope with it? Like, how are you from where you were before to where you are now with that?
I haven't had one in probably maybe about a year.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really good because it's very on and off. I will go like years without having them, and then something happens, and all of a sudden, like I'm back there, having the panic attacks again. So yeah, it's been about a year. Poetry, I guess in a way I could say it helps because it can be very therapeutic. So with poetry being therapeutic, it's entirely possible that it contributes enough to calming my stress that I'm able to keep it away a little better. I mean, there are other things I do, meditate, pray. I do a lot of deep breathing, just to help relax myself at like random times. And so there are other steps I have been taking, but yeah, I would say poetry definitely attributes to that as well.
And it's almost too like when you write about it, you know how you like face your demons? You are like, you're facing it, you're putting it on paper, you're not afraid of it to talk about it, just like in counseling. But I feel like writing, for me at least, I don't know if it's for you, but you write and it's just got some sort of different, it clicks in my brain differently when I'm writing about these mental, illness issues and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's the same for you.
Say that one more time. You were spinning on my screen.
Oh, okay, yeah, that happened to me a couple times with you. I was just saying that facing it on paper is that's the therapy for me, and it sounds like it for you. You're facing your demon, like that,
Yeah.
whether you wanted it or not, it's out there on paper. And for me, if I can just be like, that's probably why I write so much. Like I write like 3 poems a day. I'm like, I'm pissed, I'm happy, you know. Oh, you're spinning now.
All right,
You there?
it was
You
spinning
spun.
again for me.
Yeah, you spun for a minute too. Okay,
so
so
so that's hard to it's hard to say who's doing what because you're spinning for me
it,
and I'm spinning for you.
basically, I'm going to say this fast before they spin on me again. Basically, it's therapy to write.
It is. It can be very therapeutic
That's why we
to
do it. So I have one that's similar, a mental illness one that's similar to yours,
Okay,
but different, but it's in the same category.
gotcha.
It's called Shovel Can't Save. I struggle to see the light. Mud thick clawing fingernails, fear up to my eyes. I can't see a way out. And the more I struggle to survive, the more I lose the depths of what it feels to be alive. Ironic, isn't it? To sink is to rise, and to rise is to lose this fleeting grip with life. Drowning to a shovel that cannot save me. Tears and fears turning the dirt around me, a mask for my tainted soul. To a grave I should dissolve, but I don't. No, I grab your hand and wait, and wait. Submitting to your will, I know I am not strong enough yet. Pull me up, God. You're all I have left. I'm not familiar with it, but apparently that's some good.
It's a poetry thing. You got to get to
I know.
some poetry stuff in person.
Yeah, that's nice to get it instead of likes. I guess that's like the equivalent of likes is hearts.
Yeah. And yep,
Well, and it's
yep.
funny too because that's heart, I think. Like,
Yeah, I'm so used
yeah,
to,
that
I
one,
mean, when you go to a lot of it's the equivalent of our clapping, like when you clap
yeah,
after a concert, like for poets we do this because we're not that loud, so there's no reason to, give the
yeah,
same feedback.
holler.
It
Have you
sounds
ever
really
been
cool
to?
too.
Have you ever been to a poet? I went to one spoken word. It was when I first started,
Hmm.
and I was obviously like first started poetry ever. So that totally intimidated me because they're all snapping and like stomping, and then they had these scoreboards too. Did they ever have? Do they have scoreboards?
Only for poetry slams.
I don't think this was just them going up and reading. Anyway, that was my first, but I'm gonna muster up the courage to go
Hmm.
next time. But that really intimidated me. So what would you suggest for somebody who's first starting to wanting to go into it first starting and it's a very intimidating space?
Um, well, first I'd say don't be intimidated. I mean,
Okay, well that's easier.
it's we're all writers. The way I tell people, especially when they're first getting into performing, is think about this, and this should take away some of the intimidation. First off, everybody's writing from their own experience, so you shouldn't ever compare yourself to what you're seeing on stage because they're writing and they're reenacting based off of their own experiences. So if those aren't your experiences, you don't have to try to compare yourself. I think that's what happens. A lot of poets, when they decide to go to events or do online open mics or whatever the case, they immediately start comparing themselves. And there'll never be a fair comparison. I haven't been through what you've been through. You haven't been through what I've been through. We don't write the same. How could we compare ourselves? Plus, if it's not a competition, there's no need to compare yourself anyway. If it is, I mean, that's a different story. But so that should take some of it off of it. And then, some people get intimidated by the audience. If you're going to a poetry open mic, guess what? Everybody's there for poetry. So there's nothing unique you have to do to impress them except poetry. And ideally you came with that because it's a poetry open mic. So that,
Hmm.
take some of that intimidation away. Don't compare yourself, because if you do that, you'll always be intimidated. There's always a better writer. In some way, shape, or form,
That's
there's
true.
always a better writer. There are people
Always.
who I talk to who I'm like, I'll never be a writer like that. They write differently, but it's better in my opinion. And it's not my style to write the same way they write. So like, I'm not going to get there. And even if I do, there's still going to be somebody better than them and better than them and better than them. And if they're not already up towards the top, there's somebody working on it right now who eventually is going to be
Yeah.
better than you too. And so, you know, it's not fair to do that to yourself, to psych yourself out. Like, I think also, if you're going to an open mic, I think it's best to maybe go to, I don't know, maybe like 2 to 3 of them before you share. Like maybe
Yeah.
just fill it out, go fill out the room, and then you'll
Mm.
see there's nothing to be intimidated about. Everybody comes up and shares their piece. Every piece sounds different. Some people read their pieces, some people have theirs memorized. So just come check it out and see what they're doing. Get the vibe, get the energy of the place. And then after going a few times, like, yeah, get out there. Or if you feel ready before then. But I would say at least watch one first, sit through it, and then,
It's a
you
good,
know,
yeah. I want to make that my goal. I'm going to go to one.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
writing
check
it
it out.
down.
And if you can, sit through the whole thing so you can see, because there's always a range of poets. And I think you'll be less intimidated when you see that there's that range of poets. Because yeah, if you come to an open mic, everybody's memorized, they're very powerful performance, and you're a soft-spoken poet, yes, that's extremely intimidating. But that's not usually the case at an open mic. There's going to be somebody reading. There's going to be people soft spoken. There's going to be people who, have powerful political activist poems. There's going to be people who just want to read about love, flowers, and happy stuff. And, there's just no comparison. Everybody's there for their own reason. They're not comparing themselves to you more than likely. So, that's just my opinion.
I like it. I like it. I'm gonna do it. I like to push myself. Like even doing this live show is a push for me. It's been a few weeks. So this is like the next step. This is the growing. So
yeah, for sure.
I'll be fine. And if not, I'll just pretend to faint.
Well, I mean, the beauty is no one's gonna crucify
And
you
like,
if you get up and leave.
why'd you do that? It's like, well, it's part of the show.
It's part of the show. Don't pass out. Please don't pass out on stage. It scares people.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I won't. So, okay. All right, Kareen. Kareen wants to join, but we're going to finish up a few more poems and then accept people to join. So just hang tight. So you're up, sir.
All right. iPhones versus Androids. Which one is better? My Android is customizable, so those dumbass preloaded apps don't get in the way like the garbage iPhones. iPhones are clearly better. It's like the consistency for me. FaceTime is better than Google Duos, and this camera make the selfie pop like popcorn. Androids have way more selections for phones, so I'm not confined to just one Apple. My options are way more fruitful, and don't diss our cameras. iPhones don't get viruses like Androids because not everybody is using it, and let's be honest, Alexa gets around way more than Siri does. She busted open on all platforms. Maybe that's why Alexa works better, though, is because she's more experienced and can control everything you need her to if you're smart. Androids have 3 cameras to take pictures. iPhones do too, and they come in different sizes. Androids do too, and they come in a variety of colors. iPhones do too, and they can connect with other Apple devices. Androids can connect with other devices too. iPhones can record in 1080p or 4K. Androids can too, but let's be honest. Nowadays, that's the most action we will partake in. It's the basis that only fans can capture the way we expose ourselves for the internet. Technology intersects and intercepts our need for human interaction, and everybody got Karen on film, but she's still thriving and surviving. I got this fight on camera, but I didn't break it up. It's okay. They're still thriving and surviving. My baby ran into a wall. It's the funniest thing I've seen. But it's okay. They're still thriving and surviving. This TikTok got me hella followers, but it's tough outside of the net. So am I thriving and surviving? They watch my life disintegrate on my IG live, but I can laugh it off. So I'm still thriving and surviving. I got this cop killing that man on cam, beating that woman on cam, cussing out and screaming at that person on cam, but no amount of technology, not a tablet, a cell phone, a computer, not a camera can ever technically overcome that. There's no justice. The culprit is still thriving and surviving. So which one will bring forth convictions? Androids or iPhones? 4K or 1080 HP? Ask yourself, which form of technology would you like them to record your funeral
in? Whoa, because it took such a turn. Like at first it was, it caught you on the humor, and then it hooked you in, and it was like almost kind of like the videos now, kind of like you spoke to the audience. If you're like, oh, just get something lighthearted, whatever, and it's like shit, I better get my shit together. So,
Right. Yeah, that was, when I started writing that, I'm like, this is funny. And I was like, but I'm feeling the energy and it's about to turn. It's about to turn. And so I was like, all right, here we go. I hope people are ready for this because they're about to get a roller coaster right now.
yeah, that was awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
I have one on the same vein. You're like totally changing everything I was gonna do because this is it's called life sucking.
Mm,
She stared, dazed at this glowing, life-sucking fucking rectangle pulling her into new realities.
mm,
She could get lost in it for hours. And yet, with the click of a button, she'd be home. But one day, beneath the hot October sky, she got lost. So lost that life began to blur. Season after season, moments fell away,
mm,
crumbling to dust. From whatever she had left, old and still clinging, she looked up as if just awakening. She'd forgotten what it was like to truly connect. But
mm.
everyone was gone. But that glowing, life-sucking fucking rectangle was still there. Phone Addict is the title. Well, wait, I don't know. That's the end. Phone Addict.
Phone addict. Yeah, cell phones, man, they're something.
Oh wow. Speaking on to cell phones, like I find myself like, how do you feel like? Are you like on it a lot? I am. So it's a safe place to
Um,
open
yes, but I'm not other than like replying to stuff on social media, like I actually use my phone to like talk to people. I know.
Such a good idea.
Yes, it's a strange concept, but I use it actually more for that and not through like any third party apps, like simple, like usually like texting and just talking to people on the phone. I use my phone more for that than I do anything else. My social media is confined to this, Instagram. And then I have a TikTok, which honestly, I still don't know how I feel about it. So I haven't been pushing it very much.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like, other than that, I don't have any other forms of social media. So I'm not, I don't have very many games on my phone. Um, I have like the Kindle app so I can read, but other than that, I don't do much. If I'm not writing on it, I'm usually not on it too much, really.
So you've put together a lot of novel concepts, talking to people and reading.
Foreign
So
things.
we can all take this away. Yeah. I like audiobooks personally, but I'm a mother. Well, you're a father too,
Hmm.
but I want to get like 100 things done, so I want to listen, but I need to start reading again because it really does help with writing, like reading the
Yes,
actual words.
it
Helps
does.
your grammar not go to shit.
Hmm.
Like, so I'm gonna start doing that too. Look, there's so many things. I have go to an open mic and read a real book on my list
And
right
read a
now.
real book.
It's been a long time. I just listened to them.
Do it while bookstores still exist.
Yeah, that's true. Like if you buy a book, they can't like because history's always changing, you know?
Hmm.
So if you
And it's a lot is really like, I think that every time I pass a Barnes and Nobles, I'm like, how are you still here? Like, I love books, but I'm like, I feel like so many people would rather read something on a device, and so a place with like physical books like just seems, it's like talking about a payphone. You're just like,
yeah.
what is that? Why is it here? And how are you still around in some way, shape, or form? Like it's I love
I
them though.
actually did a poll on this on my Instagram stories because I'm writing a book, but I
Hmm.
need to read a real book, whatever. Anyway, so I'm writing a book and I was like, do you guys like digital or like hard copy? And vast majority said hard copy. They want a physical book in their hand. So it's probably
Hmm.
that there's a sub market for this people who want the physical act because getting away from your phone can be hard. You could be reading a book and all of a sudden a notification comes in
and you're not in the book anymore. So, or
Right.
you have the Kindle. So, yeah, I was thinking about doing a separate kind of show about mental health and like having one of them be about this phone addiction.
Hmm.
And I'm on a recovery path. I like tend to like I quit wine like 6 months ago. Was it five, six? And it seems like my addictions just take it like they switch. So it's like I'm
Hmm.
done with that. And now it's like I'm on my phone now. It's like how can I transfer this to a healthy addiction? So, uh,
I mean, that's essentially a method of getting rid of a certain addiction, you know, like you know, smokers using, you know, something to like chew on or something like that, you know, to occupy, you know, that motion that their body wants to do as part of the addiction, like having something, you know, like a piece of straw or something to just like put in your mouth, like to substitute for that. So I don't know how well it works because I don't really have things I'm addicted to that I'm not trying to be addicted to because it's not
lucky man.
it's not something that controls my life. So you know it's a healthy addiction if there is a such thing. So
Oh, that's great. I am very proud of you. Some of us have it hereditary, but gold star.
here you go. That makes
Oh
sense.
man. See, let's read some of the comments.
Oh yeah,
Um, Waving at people. My husband said, "What's a bookstore?" You know what a bookstore is, dork. Is that a Kindle? Is that like a Kindle? Yes.
something like that.
Something like that.
Yes, but no.
Yeah. I guess, well, yeah, like a Kindle is a bookstore, essentially. It's like all
Yeah.
the books in one thing. Um, you're up, I think, right? I forgot.
Um. Yeah, I think so. I got something drawn up here, so let's see. Let's see. I'll share the title of this afterwards because I like where it goes before that without knowing.
Cool.
She says I have a candy addiction. That's not an addiction.
Oh,
If it's
found
sweets,
one.
if it's sweets, it's not an addiction. That's okay.
It's an addiction when it becomes past a healthy amount.
As long as if you're diabetic, you take your insulin, then you're fine. Don't listen to me on that.
Not a doctor.
I work in healthcare, but no, not a doctor. Okay, so I first met you about 17 years ago. You came into my life in very trivial times. I was dealing with the demons inside my head. I was dealing with family traditions put into play through manipulations. You kept me company. Even when I got to a point where nothing comforted me, I look back at our time together. And it was hard to see back then. Times were dark way back when. Yeah. This piece is honest, bare, open. You have always exposed my vulnerabilities. My love for you runs deep. My love so fair. My vision is impaired because I'm drunk off you. Scared about what we could do if I ever got it together enough. You're my home in a world where living establishments are unfamiliar. Abandonment placing me into foundations boarded up at the windows. Nowadays, things look the same but feel different. 30 days and nights worth of challenges has us back in honeymoon phase. There's always been deathly aromas swarming around. I can't seem to shake it, so solace is confiding in you. Deciding I drew portraits real crazy, like hoping to live on, immortalize me at least part ways from my grave. This poem is about you, but also me too, because we are united. It may not always be the best union of talents, but some of the best bands ever eventually broke up. So maybe this is our reunion tour. And we can vow to stay friends, put the past behind, and promise nothing will ever break us up again. Love is friendship set on fire, and I'll tolerate these flames for you, for better or for worse, till death do us part. Now ashes to ashes and dust to dust, let us flow until the winds, until we sink into the sea, becoming one with the earth again. Peace and love to you. Poetry.
Oh, that was a really sweet one. You froze for a sec. You froze for a minute, but that was really nice. So, but you were speaking to poetry this whole time.
I was speaking to poetry.
Oh, I like that. I thought it was like a match, like a marriage.
It
So
is a marriage.
it is. Well, you'll never leave it. I think once there's been a lot of hobbies I've had, like music, guitar, art, painting. This is the longest stretch that I've done on a daily basis. So
Yeah,
there really is a matrimony or marriage between the two, I think. It
it
just sticks
is.
with you.
Cause it was, oh man. When I first started writing, I hit this real rough patch for maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years or so where it was just,
That's a long rough patch.
it was a very long rough patch. Like we broke up. We were done.
Yeah.
I was on to I was trying to find another woman. But you know, it was like I had such, because initially, I started writing because it was a hobby, it was fun.
Hmm.
And then, once I really got into poetry, I hit this really dark period of my life at that time. And so when I hit this dark period, it transitioned from this being fun and a hobby, like that honeymoon phase, to just being, this was the one thing I was depending on to keep me alive. And
Wow.
it got to a point where this didn't even help. So I stopped. I was like, I'm continuing to be self-destructive. I'm continuing to spiral down. And the one thing that used to help me did not help. And so I was like, I'm done. I don't want to write anymore. And I stopped writing for a long time. And then finally, got back into it and then took a little more time off. And then, just last year really started to get back into it hardcore.
What
And
brought you back to your first love?
um my mom, actually.
Mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um so my mom passed away maybe a year and a half or so ago. And for me, I wanted to find a way to continue to honor her throughout my life. And so I wanted to use something that was something that I love and something that she loved about me. And one of the things she loved about me was my poetry. And so I was like, I'll get back into poetry. And that will be my tribute to her. So I'm currently working on my first book, and it's going to be dedicated to her. Um, the cover, once it's done, so not to make people even more sad, but
No,
um,
this isn't good, sad. I'm over here crying.
well, she had she not gotten sick and passed away, she was set to be married 4 days from that day. And she had gotten her wedding dress early and tried it on and everything. And then at the time I was staying with her. And so she put the wedding dress in my room. And so I still have my mother's wedding dress, and she had taken a couple pictures in it with a friend of hers and asked the friend to send them to me. And so the cover of my book will have part of her wedding dress on it. And then a good majority, like the theme with the most amount of poems would be poems dedicated to her. And I'm also going to try to put pictures of her in the book as well. The whole book won't be about her, but for the most part, it's a complete dedication to her. So, um, So yeah, that's part of the tribute, and then anything I do. So I mean, you're gonna get one too, but every
I
feature I
can't.
do, I end. The last poem I'll do is a poem about her. So once we are getting ready to wrap this up, you let me know, and that'll be my
Oh,
final poem. It's one of those. So
well, damn. This is gonna be hard to beat. Shit. But at least you got me in a sad mood, so now this will be okay. Here we go. It's called To His Love. The nuances, spaces found between your breath. I could taste them when you spoke. A repertoire to fill my senses. In that darkness, it blooms like a shadow framing your memories, a reflection of the midnight moon in its cycle, like the words I'll never speak that haunt you. Letting me in, I see your brokenness, deformed and mangled, spirited yet disheveled, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. There's more to your story, though. I see this now. Why then do I long for the things you'll never say? And oh, how you shine. The stars clustered on a quipping night, the glint in your eyes as we kiss goodnight. My precious Beanie, goodbye.
I like that.
I like to kind of like with your Renaissance thing, like mix some like a little bit of classical with modern.
Hmm.
Um,
It's a
kind of
nice
like
blend, and it pays homage to the people from before.
oh, I don't really think I have much else. I have a poem called Sugar Mama. But
What's that about?
oh God, okay. I'll do this and then we'll end with yours unless you have others. Do you have others?
Oh, I got poems for days. How about I do two more after yours?
Yeah, that's good. And then we'll wrap it
Yeah, absolutely.
like a bow.
Like
Present.
both.
Okay. I gotta get into character because this one's
This sounds.
a good one.
I'm excited for this. I've never heard of a poem called Sugar Mama, so.
All right. Sugar Mama. Step my way. I got the looks to kill, and you got the cash to pay. Sugar Mama, just one more time. I'm a 26-year-old man child playing on your dime. So get me an Xbox and a brand new tattoo, a skateboard and a Bentley and a big bottle of booze. Sugar Mama, meet me at the bar. I'll be your trophy man. You'll be my lucky charm. Sugar Mama, damn if this deal ain't lit. While you were busy bragging me up, I was busy robbing your shit. XOXO Tommy.
Oh my gosh.
I have another one called, I'm not going to read it today, but I have another one called City Prostitute. I just tend to do these comical poems.
That one was different.
That's good. And you've heard a lot, right?
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. That's cool though. I like the play on that. It's a good concept. That's really good.
Thanks.
Cool. I'll do this one. This one's okay. So I have something. This is a real big performance poem. This was like one of my first. Actually won a poetry slam with a combination of this poem and another one. But this was the first poem I did in that poetry slam and got. I mean, and this was years ago, so it's not the same as poetry slams now. But you know, I gotten a perfect score off of this one. So actually, this one
Oh,
always has a special place in my heart. So I kind of updated it, you know, some months ago, but here we go. So it's called Material Wishes. She said, Her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and damn right, it's better than yours. They're like, it's better than yours. She could teach you, but she'd have to charge. When she heard the saying, your body is your temple, she was thinking more in terms of MTV's Cribs. Her body was a show off. The more they saw, the better she felt. So she would often cover up her baby fat with Victoria's Secret as not to expose her Gucci. Posted on her steeples of stilettos, two tops, leggings with no panties, Prada and velour. The only consistent man in her life was Louis Vuitton. Only guidance was her Coach bag to keep her forever 21, blanketing her face with Chanel or products from Mary Kay, Dolce and Gabbana. Replace the lessons passed down from Big Mama, diamonds, and a closed heart necklace from Kay's, beaded jewelry from Claire's to stay colorfully draped, urban touch to the wardrobe with Jordans and foams, Air Ones and red bottoms, runway modeled her forward going full throttle with her dreams and material wishes, infatuated with the idea of riches and popularity's richness, no self-pity because she considered herself to be the baddest bitch, which she knew came with its own consequence, and no competition stacks up to her body. Crazy, curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist, that body, yaddy, 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 had this stallion acting tough, her nose to the sky until the clouds is where it got stuck. She would never get enough of the gazing eyes of the Michael Kors and Steve Maddens, you know, words of infatuation from boys and men whose focus is led by their banana republic. Approach was all from the same angle. Her vision was often mangled, not looking for permanent love, more like a temporary rub or a cuddle up pleasure in a sense that was always intense, even if it went by quick, unaware that one night stands don't go any further than that. Made periodic trips to the clinic when there was a slip up or something down there didn't look quite right. It never stopped her since she was already in full stride. No particular direction and not much strength to speak of. Always told the men what they wanted to hear. Met a guy who said he just wanted to be loved. He asked her to say she loved him, and she did. Knew nothing of her lifestyle, caught her with another guy one day, went home and poured glasses till they filled him with a drunken rage, walked to her apartment and stood outside the door till she came home, aimed for her closed heart necklace. You said you loved me. Boom! She said her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and damn right, it's better than yours. They're like, it's better than yours. She could teach you, but she'd have to charge. Be careful what you wish for.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I need some context, just a bit, because I want to see if it's the same as what I'm thinking.
So you want to know more about that poem?
Yes, I want to know more. There's so much to unpack there. I feel like I'd have to reread it 10 times.
So, materialism. I'm not a very materialistic person. I think materialism is one of the many downfalls of society, and that it can really control people's perception of things and blind us. So I do believe that in that blinding comes a false perception of reality, kind of like being on social media. You know, you create this life and you lose track of the fact that, you know, there are people out there who care about more than just those material things. And so for this one, you know, at the time, because, you know, let's be honest, women's clothes are generally way better than men's. So I thought it would be better to kind of go towards that, you know, sort of reach out for this person who was consumed by these materials. And then I was like, you know, you could really manipulate a lot of these brand names to mean something else, you know? And so I was like, that would be cool to twist it and use those instead of use, you know, the common words we would usually use in a poem like this, as not to expose her Gucci's, covering her baby fat. These are all, brand names. So I'm like, you can use
Yeah.
this in the process of telling the story of this materialistic person who, obviously was with this person to use them and told them what they wanted to hear. And, some people, you just don't know who you're encountering in that process. And there could be some underlying things with that person as well, where they think that it's more than what it is and it's not superficial. And sometimes that doesn't go too well. And so it kind of highlights a lot of different things, I guess. So yeah, there's quite a bit to unpack in there.
Yeah, and like it made me think of, there's a lot of like with a lot of layering and with materialism that, you just there's a lot of to make it look more lush than what it is, but in your words, in a beautiful, organic way, you kind of made like an organic, like I don't know how I was trying to put this. How I'm trying to put this, but anyway, it's beautiful in an organic way versus beauty that is manufactured. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Hmm.
I like that. The contrast, that's the contrast I picked up when you said that. Uh,
Yeah.
you can be organically beautiful, just like the words that flew out of your mouth. So I like it. You're a
um,
good writer, man.
Thank you. I
Really do
appreciate
love
that.
I heard you on that one live, and I had never heard you before. I was like, I want him on my show. He is like, I'm like sitting there, like, usually I mean, let's be honest, guys. You hit a live and you bounce. I didn't bounce. So, so good work. You kind of have a way of entrancing people with your words, which is awesome and
I
inspiring.
like that. That's such a great compliment. Like,
And it's the truth. I
especially
don't,
when you put it that way. It's like you do, a lot of people do. They'll I mean, even during this, like, and during my show that I do, like, you'll see people come in, and as quick as you go to say hi to them, they're already gone right back out of the room. And so it's like it's interesting. It's a really interesting I love it. That was a really good compliment to
yeah,
hear that you were like, I ain't gonna stay on this live. You just kind of flipping through, but because you heard me, you're like, stay. And so that means a
yeah.
lot.
It's to be able to trap people from with your words from the first, at least for me, from the first midway of your poem is quite a
Mhm.
gift. So praise the Lord. You have a great day.
Amen. It's like the equivalent of you're coming into a room, you get ready to leave, and I come and slam the door and say, sit down and listen, and
It is. Yeah. Keep it up. I'm
then
excited now to go to some of these live ones. I might actually just start looking on YouTube to start and
you
kind of
can.
just go to your page.
I mean, but YouTube is gonna be a highlight of people. It's not gonna be incredibly accurate. Like I said, unless it's like a poetry slam, and even those, it's got to be like, there are some like invitational poetry slams where they invite certain people. If you go to those are probably the most intimidating things you'll go to, because everybody is phenomenal, and everybody has like different types of poems and stories, and it's absolutely incredible. So I would say it's not an accurate depiction of what you might see at your local
Hmm.
open mic. So I would just, I know here we have like publications and stuff that will they'll do free advertising for your events. So if you have like a slam or open mic or something going on, you can put that. I know if you just simply go to Google too and open mic in my area, there are some places who will like, so I would say start local first, and then if you are just looking for inspiration, I would say look on like YouTube or something like that. Because there's button poetry, which is one of my favorites. If you go on there, like, pretty much everybody they post is like phenomenal. So you don't want that to, if you're not trying to be intimidated.
No, I think that's what I went to the very first time 3 years ago when I just started poetry. It's like I stepped into like this like And my friend invited me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be fun. I'm just gonna go up there. And then they're all like freaking blasted. I was a slam poetry thing. I'm like, go up there, and they're like, it's like crickets. It's terrible. But I've gotten better since then. So now I'm trying to push myself to speak out
Yeah,
loud to
definitely do
people.
it. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
avoid competing in poetry slams, which I don't feel like you would do anyway, but avoid that and then you'll be fine. Just go to like open
Just
mic.
go, yeah. And then I found out you don't have to memorize it. You can just take.
Do I have an iPhone or Android? I have an iPhone.
I want an iPhone again. I have a fucking stupid Android. Sorry to any Android people, but this thing has got way too many like things, and I was
That's
forced to get an
that's my
Android.
point. That's why I say it in the
iPhone's so
poem.
simple. It's so fucking simple, and I want to go back to my first love.
Yep, I am team iPhone all the way.
Oh, which iPhone is that? Tell me about it.
13 Pro.
Tell me about her curves. I'm just kidding.
This is very nice curves. Good to hold in your hands, you know.
Yeah. All right. Oh
Okay,
man,
so
that's funny.
you want me to do this last one now?
Yep, let's do it. For those of you listening, this is the grand finale poem.
This is
And
the
then we're going to
grand
read some
finale.
other poems just from a few people that submitted, and then open it up for some questions. And then if anybody wants to come on, totally cool at that point. So
Yeah, for sure.
take it away.
Okay. So again, thank you everybody who came through. I'll do that before we get to that part. Appreciate everybody who popped on, anybody who was watching on the playback, or all of you who are actually still here. Thank for everybody who actually stuck around. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So again, if you've ever seen any of my features, there was one feature. Really, really big reason why I did not, one of my features why I didn't do a poem for my mom. It was an erotic feature, so obviously not appropriate. And so
No, we don't mix those two.
no, not at all. Not here at least.
Mama's up in heaven. She's watching.
Right. So I'm like, yeah, that's the only feature where I didn't close out a poem specifically about my mom. And so this one is called My First Birthday. Actually, I have a visual. Give me like 2 seconds.
I love that background.
Thank you.
My son's name is Leo, and it's
It's
lion.
can I zoom out? No, I don't think it'll
You
let me
can
zoom
move your
out.
phone back.
Oh, it
You
does
zoomed
zoom out.
in, bro.
I know I'm trying to zoom out more, but for some reason it's not letting me. It'll let me zoom in, but it won't let me zoom out. But I was just gonna show it's like a zodiac thing.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
So it's got all the zodiac signs, symbols in there. Okay, so I got this visual, which I've never done this poem with this visual, but I mention it so it makes sense. So again, this is called My First Birthday. I have this picture of myself, and I'm holding a stuffed blue bunny. I don't know where it came from or if I had ever given it a name. I still have it 30 plus years later. I was born on August 1st, 1988. It was a day of firsts. First second, minute, hour, day on this earth. First time meeting my mother, and the fourth time she gave birth. I was a C-section baby. So my mother was cut open and I was pulled out of the world I knew into this one. First bath that day. First meal outside an umbilical cord. Hell, backtracking, it was the first day of that month. My mom was born January 1st. So I guess there was some correlation. She was fairly religious, not beat you with rulers and memorizing verses religious, but vacation Bible school, Wednesday night Bible study, Sunday morning Bible study, then service, children's and mass choir type of religious. John chapter 11, verse 35. Jesus wept. It's the shortest verse in the Bible, but I mean, what else needs to be said? Even the words in red couldn't change what you read when those words ease into your spirit. Mama cried too, a lot. She wasn't Jesus, but she loved the same. Compresses, compose, potent of estrogen and toxic emotions, release suppressed, pain translated to our stairwell wall, covered in perfume stains. The glass was the fragility of her heart. The smell was the beauty of it. The first time I nice prayer, gospel, and people who told me a friend of mine was going to hell because he committed suicide, I was surrounded by blunt objects. They just weren't effective. One night became the first night I slapped my mother with the word bitch. And I made sure that it cut deep. I left and for the first time felt like dying was my best option to find peace. The first time I really felt abandonment in what was supposed to be my home. I have the ability to not feel physical pain, and so I never flinched from the razor blades, just waited for the blood to run to see if I was still of this world. I was. Jesus wept. 2 words, and in the world of poets, words hold more power than anything. What terrifies you? And what happens when you have to face that fear? After I watched my mother die, I screamed. I'm not sure how loud, but it's the first time my worst fears came true. That's the first time I would walk out of that hospital for the last time. The first time everything wouldn't be okay. The first time I had to accept you weren't here to say. The first time something made me numb to the point where I wasn't feeling mental or emotional pain. So I don't know how many times I got hit with those razor blades, but I knew they'd come back and still sharpen, still chafing until they cut through. But this time I didn't see blood, just mama tears. So does this mean I am no longer of this world? Because I don't have blood anymore, just bloodletting, sacrificing the filters she kept on me, the lessons she instilled, the facts that I would kill to hear you and wanted you there to help me through this, but the selfishness of my isolation placed me promptly on top of trophies to be proud, to stand in your golden embrace. And this poem is about my first birthday, my first birthday without you, where nobody sings to me in your voice. Nobody takes me out to eat. Nobody smiles that big cheesy ass smile you gave me, and nobody posts a collage on my life on their Facebook. Where frankly, fuck them, but it still felt good. My first birthday is the last first birthday without you. And the first time I accepted that I am not of this world, nor do I have to be.
Shit, gosh. As a mother too, that's like, and thinking of my mom and like as a mother of my boys, like that was. Did this happening with your mother passing away? Does it affect how you view fatherhood?
Um, no, not particularly. Um, my kids, minus one of them who I'm a legal guardian of. So clearly it's just me, but my kids have the privilege of having both parents in their life. My father was not in mine. My mom's father was not in hers. And so it's nice to be part of something that breaks that cycle.
Amen.
But no, I mean, the only way it really affected my parenting is I learned so much from her. And even now, there's still stuff that I'm remembering and relearning about her that, I can translate to my parenting and what I'm able to teach and pass on to my children. So I guess in a way it affected me, but like in the best way possible. So
What was your mother's name?
Lolita.
Lolita.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, pretty. I'm gonna be crying after this too. Jeez, I don't cry though. Oh, no, it's good cries. It's like what is that channel called with all the crying movies? Anyway, it's beautiful. I loved it. Everybody else does. Your hearts are on fire, man.
Mine actually froze, so I can't see the comments and stuff anymore. I don't know how many people are in the room. I can't see the comments, the hearts.
There's 10 people in the room. Let's see. What do we got? We got lots of.
Mine says there's 12 people, and then the last comment I have is by Gemini Fox Poetry, where there's 5 hearts, and that's the last thing I saw after Moon Daddy 61 came in.
We have little cry faces, so beautiful. Oh, broken hearts, exclamation points, more tearing up faces, broken hearts and tearing up faces. The loss is great, but someone else joined. My thing's freezing. Anyway,
too.
you got you've got a lot of cool. Oh, wonderful job. You made me cry. This is great. Another good compliment.
I made you cry twice.
Yeah, I did actually. 2 cries.
I'm sorry.
If anybody else cried, just be like, put in the comments. So like, I cried.
I almost always, well, I'm not going to say almost. I always get people crying. Usually I cry too. That was like probably the first time I actually didn't start crying for that one.
Well, and you crying makes other people cry too. It's a trifecta. Like, so.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, I cried, babe. That's what someone said.
Who said that?
Nicole.
Oh,
T. Tiberio. I probably really messed that up. Let's see here. I got 2 people. I'm gonna read theirs.
Okay.
Okay. This one's by E.T. Stocksdale _. So that's her handle.
Okay.
Tag her.
I was gonna say I don't think I know who that is, but
E.T. All right, I'm gonna tag her. Oh shit! Come on, man. This ain't.
Yeah, these lives get.
All right, nothing is working. Does anybody want? Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Okay. When they ask how it felt, say excitement and fear, like when you feel the plane take off for the first time. Uncertainty, but at the same time, hope. Sleepless nights because the stars echo his name. Profound attraction, deep connection, like your heart suddenly has wings. That whenever you see each other, you feel it fly uncontrollably inside, and you have to catch your breath every time your eyes connect with his. Because you know where your heart is headed, an adventure. Know where your heart is headed, an adventure that could change everything. Lovely. I'm going to try and tag you again. Yeah. Lovely.
Still mad I can't see anything.
I know. And on the replay, you won't be able to see anything either.
No, not the comments.
Mm-mm. All right. I got one
That one
more.
makes, I wonder why they do that, why they make it so it's not a screen record instead of just a camera recording, because that would make sense. Because it's nice to read
It,
the comments.
it would. And it has a lot to do with the context of the show.
Hmm.
Because when I'm like in here like so and so commented.
Well, it would be nice for like the poets too, is because I mean we're focused on our poem. We can't read and recite the poem at the same time. So it would be nice to focus on the poetry and then be able to come back and like read through all the comments. But
Instagram, if you're listening to these little ants, this is what
they-
we want.
they're listening, just not to us.
No, we're not big enough.
Mm,
Poetry community even is probably not like even on
yeah,
their radar.
we need more followers.
Yeah. Okay, this one's a saucy one. Bourbon and Silk. Like every time I read your stuff out loud, I blush. So here we go. Here we go. I'm shaking it off. Okay. Nothing compares to a woman's body. Nature reflects her. Movement, rhythm, dance. Light waves are captured by her curves.
Mm,
Sexuality, sensuality, and sense. Power and force. It's no wonder Eve shook the foundation of the universe with one look. That was the least saucy one he's made. But
I like it.
I love that last line.
It's short and sweet, like my Midnight Thought poems. That's what makes me think of.
Yeah. Uh, so much poetic beauty.
Yeah, I agree. Poetry is nice.
It's
My like
nice.
window is right behind this, so like I keep looking out the window because I'm like, it looks like a nice day.
Yeah. We'll wrap this up and then go play outside.
No, 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 no. When I say it looks like a nice day, it just looks that way. Like
Oh yeah, you go outside. Yeah, you got to check the temperature. That's right.
this is actually a warmer day today. Yesterday we got down to like single digits, and so tonight we'll get probably like into the low 20s. So it looks nice, but it's cold. It's cold out there.
Oh, okay, well, I saw one of your pictures on your profile. You had like your dreadlocks and they were like frozen. So this must be like
Oh,
I was looking at your profile.
I was sledding with my kids. My youngest son is 6, and him and my daughter went sledding like, I don't know, this had to be like 2, 3 years ago. And I told them, I'm like, don't go down the hill before I get to the top. But of course, they were overexcited. They went
Oh
all,
yeah.
it's a huge hill. They went all the way up the hill and sled down. And as they were coming down, they started to go off to the side. And there's like a ton of trees on both sides. And so they went off and crashed into a tree. And so like my youngest would not sled anymore after that. And so I was like, I'll go down with you if you sled on your own. And he's like, okay, only if you go down with me first. And so we start going, and the snow isn't all packed down. So as we're going, it's like flying up in both of our faces.
Mm.
And so when I got to the bottom of the hill, I was like, oh man, my face is freezing. But I'm like, this is probably gonna be really funny. So I like pulled out my phone and I was like, oh my God, I look like a snowman. And so I
Yeah.
took a picture of it.
I was like, this is a cool photo. I debated on using that one for the promo poster and the one at the bottom, but then I was like, use that one more often. So
Right.
and without context, I wasn't sure. But yeah, it was a cool photo. Made me want to go get dreadlocks and do the same. You froze, but this is a normal thing. This live.
It kind of reminds you of like a filter where like, like with the filters that make you look old or something. That's what I thought. I was like, it would be cool to
Yeah.
like
Well,
my what
actually, I had to take a double take. I was like, is this a filter? But I was like, no, it's not. I can see his pores.
I can see his pores.
So that's my parameter. Like if I can see somebody's pores, I know it's real.
Glad my pores are visible.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a marker of braveness. Like if you can see a pore, it's like, wow, that person's real, man.
That's a real person there. Either that or they have a new, pores filter.
Oh, don't ruin it for me. Pores were my only thing connecting reality.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I don't think they'll ever come out with that filter because it's not entertaining enough, but you never.
no. Although they do have the filter where, have you seen it where it crosses over you and it makes you like,
Yeah,
yeah, I did that once. It was real freaky.
I don't think I would use that one because I don't know. I was like, I actually think I look worse with the filters.
Yeah, you got to strike a balance. I'm like, well, what filter can I find that kind of like people will be like, is that real? Is it not real? Just I'm not wearing one right now. I decided to start going real today, so
You
it's
should.
Sunday, day of rest.
There you go. No, no, no filters today. No filter Sunday.
Hashtag.
Filter free.
Well, that's my show.
Yeah.
How ironic is that? Starting talking about filters. It's more filter free of the mouth and the mind.
Well,
Alrighty.
I mean, it could be a double entendre then. So it can mean that, and it can also mean we're not using filters.
Yeah, don't go too far.
You're
I still
like,
need those things
time out.
sometimes.
There's too much thinking right now. Stop it.
Yeah, too much for me. All right, does anybody, before we close this up, I know we had a couple people that wanted to join. I just had a flow to stick to, and sometimes I'm an A personality. Sometimes I'm not, but it's a mix. So if
Hey, it
anybody wants
works.
to join, start clicking the
Send a
join. I
request.
would love to talk to you guys. If I scared off those other two people, I'm really sorry. I'm also learning. This is my like third or fourth show.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I guess we'll wait for a minute.
People are very
Oh, we
particular.
got somebody.
Who is it?
All right, here we go. We're just waiting. It's the screen's not frozen.
There we go.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Hi,
Hi, how's everyone? Y'all can hear
Good.
me good?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay. When you said I'm scared off the other two people, I was like, too late. I'm already joined.
Yeah, no, there was two different people. I remember them, but they're gone now.
Okay.
You can come back. I'm not scary. And
Okay.
if one more person wants to come in, they can because we can have four. So,
Right.
Okay.
so are you a
Okay.
poet? What's your name?
Yes. Well, my real name's Calvin, but I go by spoken or outspoken underscore words with a Z, and mostly perform. I think I've been on a lot of people open mics lately. I'll be flipping through open mics and stuff because there's so many to go to. So I try to
Hmm.
come in and take a little bit from the performance and then jump to the next. But yeah, and
Cool.
I do got a poem if y'all want to hear it.
Hey, all
Yeah.
right. Is it gonna make me cry?
No, no. You want to
Okay.
hear one that makes you cry or no?
No, I don't. I don't have tissues.
Oh, okay. I about you about to make me start thinking. I'm like, wait, do I have one that makes someone cry?
No, no, no. Go, whatever, whatever. Sorry, I could talk too much sometimes.
Um, this is good man fate. Tell me why good man fate is the price tag of women who want golds and jewels. Why do we fade into the sunset, treating women so great? Yet our fate isn't one we can relate to. We hear it 20 to the 4 to the 7. Wait until marriage, a worthy woman will surface. But how long can we wait? Treating a hood chick like a black church treat the grace. Now, why do us good men have more broken hearts than a porn star has relations, or more than a desert has sand? You see, don't weep for me because this isn't what you feel it to be. And please don't feel sorry. I'm just saying what I see. Let us reflect on the fact that good men are no longer needed. It's a want most women don't need, because once the moon rises and the night glows, bad boys are all they know. Good men fade. I told you so. And that's good man fade. I was trying
Yes.
not to go too deep into teary-eyed poems.
No, that was like, I have a lot of single friends, and from what I've heard, it is very hard to find a good man. But on the same token, they find them and they ditch them
Yeah. It's
because the
a
novelty wears
360.
off and they want a bad boy.
That happens
It's
sometimes.
definitely a huge circle. It's like a cycle. I mean, good
Mhm.
people turn into toxic people, and toxic people try to turn back into good people, and it never really like discontinues. So the dating scene right now is so crazy, but I'm living it, And one day I
Okay,
hope to be married.
I haven't been single for 12 years. So when I was married in 2010, like shit was like, there was no Facebook, there was no Tinder.
No dating apps, none of that.
No, you had to meet people organically. It was like, what? So is that even is so this is going a little bit off topic slash talk show, but are there any like organic that you know of? Have you ever met somebody organically?
Um, Let me see if I can think back. Um, Organic. Yes, it was kind of like I refer to myself as a hopeless romantic. I say that because what I'm about to tell you kind of relates. I met this young lady in community college at the time, and I just thought she was the best kept secret next to Italian bread. Like that's how dope she
That's
was.
hard to beat.
That's how dope she was. So we got to know each other, but we never fully got into a relationship. It was always a bad timing on both our ends, but we stayed in contact. And that kind of relates to the fact that I was like, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to take it to the next level. But when we get to the surface, it always goes back down to the deep. So it wasn't never going to be complete. That's why I say I'm a hopeless romantic, because she really had a chance. I did too.
Were you a good guy, or did you ever
Yeah.
play? Were you ever a player?
I
Be
mean,
honest, be honest, man. I'm sitting here eating some nuts, like.
look, these questions getting hit. No, I was totally a great guy. I ain't gonna say I was 100%, but I wasn't like a player or anything like that. But I did have my choices. That's my nieces running around for us like dating. But
Yeah,
I'm very particular. Y'all be quiet for a second. I'm very like specific in my choices. I like a certain type of woman, and like she fit it perfectly. So anybody else was just like, I guess, a build up to her, because it
right.
wasn't really no competition. But it didn't work out anyway, so I should have been looking the other way. But that's all
Now
I
we
can.
all got that person, right? I'm
Yeah,
sure
that one person.
that
Yeah.
person it somewhat fills that poetic well. Okay, this is my question for everybody that's on the show.
Mhm.
Poetic well. Do you guys like source from a specific like vat of emotion, or is it like across several ones?
Well, for me, you asking me directly or
Both
the?
of you, whoever. Like, does it ever run dry? Because I know you were talking earlier, like you went for 10 years, not writing at all, so it must have dried up.
Yes. I would say it does. It's only so much that you can give yourself to be a resource for others, for us like love and everything else, till it runs dry. And this goes with writing poetry as well. You can go through so many situations that give you so much energy until you write it all, and then you run dry. So in my case, I would say I do, especially
Um,
with love, because I don't have any more love poems in me. Because
yeah.
I feel like it ran up or dried up and all that stuff.
All right. I'm going to stop my talk show, please. That might be a different live. Just like, you know, girl, what's going on? All right. So, do you have any more poetry? Does anybody else
Yeah,
want
I have one more, then I'll try to get off real quick.
Did
to?
you
Okay.
have more? There's a couple people that want to send me a piece
I seen that in the comments.
to read, so I can if they send me one, I'll read those. But for me,
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So you have one already? You want to just
No, they haven't sent them yet. They were just asking, so I'm gonna
Definitely. That's a
I'm
good
gonna
way to
see
do
if
it.
they send. So if you want to do yours, then that should be
okay.
fine.
I'm watching my nieces too, cause there's so many of them. So excuse me for moving around like this, but let me see. I got, let me see, Tall Tales. Pulling her strings until they're untangled. Melodies of a breeze rubbing against me. Flipping a coin, yes, no, and cattail kisses. Relationships are built upon a foundation. From the ground up, remove your complacency moves. She say, love you, babe. Promise to God I'll never let you go. Hold on to your very simmering soul, but I digress. Let us continue to the next episode. She say, kiss me here, and you better not hesitate. Pay my bills, fix my plate, separate green beans and white rice, season my chicken without salt. You see, choose my wife without vows. Every day I drove to communicate. No matter the schedule, time was taken up. Because if you believe in love, why not try figuring that young lady out? You know, why not do so, fellas? Like on the normal day. Like when the dentist say, stay away, you buy candy. Sweet tooth. She say, love you, babe. Promise to God I'll never let you go. Hold on to your very simmering soul, but I digress. Let us continue to the next episode. You see, finding your soulmate, it's like a needle in a haystack. But once you find her, you grab her, you hold her, you love her, you up a dub, but you elevate to your lover till she see that you care. That simmering soul is inside of you somewhere. And that's how it tells.
Great.
I like
Thank you,
that.
thank you.
I like
I
the
like it.
flow of that one. Really like the flow.
Someone else is coming in to this thing. It's gonna take a minute.
Oh, Shaq, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm gonna try to
Hey.
get my spot up, but thank y'all for having me. I'll be in the comments.
All right. See ya. Thanks for the lovely words.
Hola, how are you?
Okay.
Good. Do you have some work to share?
Sure.
Awesome.
It's sort of kind of a trigger piece, but it's for women, and it was motivated by the youth who are um, oblivious to the people before them.
Mm.
It goes, I am the word, because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I am a movement. I dance to my own tune, allowing not a fraction of my innermost totality to be consumed. I am the brick and mortar. I possess the power to destroy and restore order. I am Shaq G. I quietly unleash elegant energy naturally. Now I ask you, how dare you? How dare you stand bold and unbothered on the very grounds that bleeds the flesh of my father's father and drip the milk of my grandmama's breast? How dare you? And how dare you turn your back on those that sacrifice their back so that you can reach back to give back? How dare you? And how dare you disrespect the melanin in your skin just to blend in with the Europeans who stole the souls of our old, bucked our men and raped our black women? How dare you? And how dare you look down on our seniors who were beat down because their skin was brown, treated as misfits so that you could sit, stand, kneel, or however you see fit so that at the end of the day, you can unapologetically say, I graduated. And although you didn't ask to be here, my dear, you see, I gave you the very best part of me. I gave you the flesh of my flesh, the air that I breathe, the line of my life, the keys to our history so that you could be free to one day rewrite a legacy with the understanding that you can never be without her story, her testimony, her bloodline, and her legacy. Oh, baby, I want nothing but the very best for you, but not at the expense of losing you. Not to them, but because you've been blinded by society's definition of acceptance, baby, you have most definitely lost sight of you. The wars that were fought, the lives that were bought, the blood that was shed for you and your son to lay your head. How dare you? You see, I sacrificed my life so that you could be the next Booker T, Maya Angelou, Marcus Garvey, Michelle Obama, Muhammad Ali. But baby, please don't forget this dope ass Shaq G. You see, my love runs deep. And this covenant I will forever keep. So to deny you is to most definitely deny me. And if asked if I would do this shit all over and over and over again, I would say most definitely I give my life completely. Shaq G.
Shaq G.
That was a lot. You guys are awesome. Everybody on the show is awesome.
Thank you.
Great lyricist. Yeah, this is great.
You all are spinning. I can't see you all. Y'all are spinning. It's like you're from, there you go.
It's been doing that to
I know.
both of us.
I was
Her
feeling-
spins, mine spins. It's just been, I don't know what it is.
It's just been a
Yeah,
spin.
it's crazy. I guess too many people are using Instagram as a platform, but it's great. But I just
No,
wanted to share that piece.
too many people are on this live. It's just like busting the system. Like we just don't see it. That's what it is. It's like
Right.
100.
I greatly appreciate you all for letting me up on your platform. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Come back.
This is her platform, not mine.
Oh, well, thank you, young lady. I greatly appreciate you for allowing me up. I greatly appreciate it.
All right, you got some. I got one.
I've 3.
All right, you read yours and then I'll end it with mine.
Okay. I don't think you sent any titles to these. Okay, so I sent the one I got first. Yeah, I got this one is from CP Writes, aka the Vulnerable Poet.
Cool.
She didn't send a title, but I'll read it. Dear God, I've decided to be fully submerged in love. Still testing waters, but not being afraid to take that plunge. You know, diving deep. But as long as his heart allows me, I am eagerly awaiting to be baptized in his midst. Not in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, but the name of him, his heart, and come. Coming to me all in one. I've always felt a connection when looking in his eyes, and when he holds me firm from behind closed doors, my breath he takes away as he repeatedly collides in me. Look, love, she set me up. Love took pleasure in piercing my soul, and yes, I became lull and humid all in one go. Dear God, I am determined to drink from this cup where there's unlimited flow of love. So patch, please, my hollow heart to receive in full. Thank you, CP Writes.
I'm not the only one. Like, there's a lot of poems I want to share that are like super sensual, but like me reading that. I need to practice in the mirror. Like reading my like, it probably won't happen. But beautiful words.
It was very beautiful and felt really weird to read, but oh, she sent me 2.
Better do a quick read.
She said pick one. Okay. We'll go with this same kind of vibe. So this one is by Moon's Earth Angel. I want you to kiss me softly, like vanilla whipped frosting on cake, in between cake, softly. Like the cloud we drift off to when our energies touch, speak softly. Like the feeling of your hands gliding through across my skin, I want you to kiss me softly. The way the stars kiss the sky, the way the moon greets the skies softly. The way the sun says goodbye softly. I want you to kiss me softly, without any words, without any thoughts, letting the fire between our lips colliding tell the story. I want you to kiss me softly. Kiss me softly. Let me taste you. Let me feed your soul. Kiss me. Kiss me softly, but do it now. Come to me. Come drift with me. Let's get lost in each other's pillow thoughts. Lost in each other's kiss. Softly, softly. Kiss me softly. And that was Moon's Earth Angel. A lot of kisses in that poem.
Ooh, a lot of soft ones.
lot of soft kisses. A lot of soft kisses. She did have one more if you wanted me to read it, but I did. She said pick one, so that will
Okay.
do, but
Yeah. That's what I've been doing. If I get multiples is I just pick one
mhm.
and then so that works. Cool.
It was a soft kiss. That was pretty nice.
Was the title Soft Kiss?
There was no title. Oh, it was Pillow Thoughts. That's what it was. At
Pillow
the
Thought.
end, it said Pillow
That
Thoughts.
was the key word that got pulled out. I was like, I wonder if the title is Pillow Thoughts. Yeah, that was a strong, I don't know. Sorry.
I
Okay.
haven't had to stop washing my hair to type this. I love that. I love when
You're in the,
poetry can shut down whatever somebody's doing. Because I know a lot of the time some of us brings it up. It's just kind of background noise or just to listen in. But, so we can multitask. But a poem that just makes you stop doing what you're doing, you're like, hold on, I have to listen to this.
so you're a shower writer. I take my phone in the shower too. The one place that's where I write the most.
Really?
Oh yeah, like
I'd be
probably 50%
paranoid.
of my work is in the shower. It's my second office.
She wants to hear me and where are you? That was the other poem.
Yeah, it's up to you, man.
That's fine. I like reading these as long as I'm not getting set up. Okay, so we'll do this one. Where are you? Okay. Where are you? Are you thinking of me the way that I think of you? I know I'm taking my time, but even when I want to be far, I want you near. I want your energy surrounding me every minute of the day. Yes, that's an exaggeration, but you get my point. I like you around. I want you around me, always here, now, and yes. Go ahead and call me crazy for what I'm about to say, but I know, my heart knows, my soul knows you are one of my soulmates. And I don't need any more time to be sure of that. In fact, I've known it for a little while, and yes, it might be a little while, or for you at least, but not for me. I feel things intensely and fast and deep. Ah, I feel it. And something tells me you do too. But you aren't sure that I do. So you try to play it off cool, hoping not to come off a certain way. Not knowing at all that I feel everything, always, before it even happens, before it's even seen. But how do I explain what I just know? And is there any reason to? Can you not just feel it? Without needing any further confirmation, any further reassurance, can you not just flow, ride the wave, be an air sign with me? Not everything has to feel like fire. Not everything has to burn. Can we not just float, drift off into our cloud? Without caring how far we'll go, without caring if we fall, can we not just exist in the moment, here, now? How does that sound? I'm ready for you. Are you ready for me? Let's connect our fingertips. Let our souls finally meet. Let our hearts kiss hello. Where are you? Where are you? Do you not hear my soul calling you? Because I hear yours. I hear it every single night. So answer this call. Let's be up all night. We can. Let's read each other's pages till every line is memorized, felt deep within. And then let's do it all again. Let me learn you. Let me show you this person, this being no one else gets to see. Let me show you me. Is that too much to ask? To be seen fully, wholeheartedly, without a wall, without any distance at all, is it too much to ask? To want back what is given, reciprocation, heart, soul, spirit, tell me, why are you truly here? Is my heart right about you? I want it to be, I really do, but I need you to tell me. I need you to answer, what does your heart want? Does your soul also feel the tie? Is it me you so deeply desire, or are you just here for the surface? Message sent. Unsend message. Waiting for a response. Where are you?
There's such a peaceful angst to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the juxtaposition between the two is, it's like I'm peaceful, but I feel the like sadness.
So I don't edit my typos, I just skip over them. Yeah, I like that. So yeah,
You read
that's
it
all the
well.
names I got. Huh?
You read it well.
Cold readings. I always like
Yeah.
those. With I used to do some acting, and so, you know, usually, for those of you who haven't acted before, following the audition process, once you actually get into the play, you usually do a cold reading of the play. So, director divvies out the parts, sit around at a table or wherever, and then everybody, we go through the entire play and everybody reads their parts, like just, you know, just for everybody to actually go through the play together to know what the play is. And so I kind of equate these to that, you know, when you get someone else's words and trying to bring it to life. Hopefully I did it some justice, but, you know, yeah. So I look at
I
them
liked
as
it.
like cold readings. Yeah.
That's great.
Good.
I've got one more. Donald Fuston. That's his handle too, just said the same way.
Okay.
It's called Some Poets I've Met. Some poets I've met have been in torture chambers, blood up to their ankles, vampire bats flapping around them. But like I said, they become great poets. Their poems amaze and awaken, their words lift and enlighten. But these poets still have to suffer through never-ending nightmares. I weep jagged glass tears, I fall to my knees and vomit oil. I get up eager to read more. What a great way to end that.
I like that too.
Yeah, that was
It's
awesome.
really nice. It's always fun reading other people's pieces.
It's kind of like an adventure. It's like
Yeah.
Russian roulette. Will I read it right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, right. Dear Lord Jesus.
Yeah, if not, then we apologize.
All right. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours, 2 minutes shy in my time, Mountain Standard, at 5 o'clock. So I'm gonna go eat some dinner.
Sounds good to me.
And these nuts aren't suffice. They don't yeah, no sustenance.
They just make you more hungry.
Yeah. And I found out one more thing, but these have so much fat in them, and I'm on a calorie thing. And you think they'd be healthy, but they're sneaky bitches. Like, just listen. I'm saying, check stuff if you're on a diet. I still eat them. It's Sunday.
I mean, you
All
should
right.
check it regardless of whether you're on a diet or not. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'd think it's natural. You know, they'd be fucking me with Anyway. All right, guys.
The natural ones are the unsalted kind of ones.
Yeah, these are unsalted, so.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's probably as natural as it's gonna get.
Yeah, no. It's better than bacon, which I had this morning.
It is better than bacon from
It
my
is.
standpoint.
All right, everybody. This is Filter-Free Poetry. And there's a show. I'm not doing any on spring break. I'm kind of taking a break. But I wish I had my calendar up. I'm never prepared. Anyway, I'll post a thing for it soon, and you'll know. So anyway, bye. And have a wonderful evening, night, day, summer, fall. I don't know. That doesn't really count.
Spring.
Spring, wherever you're at. I guess if you're in Alaska, it's kind of always winter.
Yeah, it's kind of
All
depressing.
right. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.